Conversations between law enforcement and the community are taking place across the nation. Here in Sarasota, for reasons we've just explained, it is a conversation delayed. The NAACP and Sarasota Police were going to appear on this broadcast tonight, but because of last night's events, they have postponed that appearance. But joining us now from the Sarasota Sheriff's Office is Lieutenant Brian Gregory, and we are grateful that you are here, Lieutenant.
It's good to be here.
I appreciate it. I was talking to the sheriff a little while ago who talked about what is being done in terms of the sheriff's office and the deputies in terms of dealing with members of the community, trying to learn from past experiences and taking into account what's happening across the nation. It's called rightful policing. And if you could explain that to us.
Well, rightful policing, it's not necessarily a new phenomenon, but it's something that we've been teaching. It's been in our last training session that we do. And the way I like to think about it is basically it comes down to the sheriff's office core values of integrity, respect, service, and fairness. And in any situation that law enforcement deals with, whether it's a traffic stop, whether it's a disabled vehicle, whether it's a family disturbance, whether it's a fight at a nightclub, we want to deal with the situation and deal with the public and treat them with integrity, respect, and service. And doing those things, we are servicing the community and allowing. We are able to. We're able to basically. When we treat people with respect, we're able to. It's better for the community and helps them. Overall.
Right. How long has the sheriff's office been trying to get this across?
Well, for me, it's been my whole career. From when I started in the sheriff's office, and it starts with me. It started with my family and my core values. But it's something that the core values of the sheriff's office have been there since I started. So we've been doing this for a very long time.
Now, I know the sheriff is out today meeting with members of the community and ministers. In the wake of what happened in Dallas and Louisiana and Minneapolis, what has been going on in the department in terms of either introspection or rethinking about how deputies deal with members of the community who do feel that there are issues of fairness?
We, as the agency, I feel like we do a very good job of being transparent. We try to put out through the media things that are occurring on a real-time basis. Okay, so if something is occurring, we get it out there through media sources, through Facebook, through press releases, those type of things. As far as the community is concerned, we train and we try to build relationships through the community, whether it's faith-based relationships. We have a good relationship with a group called Focus, who has helped us many times when an incident may occur. They will come out. It's a faith-based organization that comes out and they help us de-escalate the situation, and it allows us to continue to investigate. They've resolved some of the issues that we've had. Some of the other things that we do is we just try to build relationships with the community through different things that we do involving.
I saw an interview with the former police chief of Washington, D.C., who went on to Philadelphia, and he said part of the problem is that training standards are not uniform across the country from the department to department, and he's saying there actually should be fewer departments and more standardized training. The sheriff's office sees the Suncoast in a large macro and smaller scale. Is that an issue when you look at other departments that these techniques and standards and training are not uniform?
I can't really comment necessarily on other departments and what they're training and what they're not training on. I know at the sheriff's office there's a minimum standard that we have to do to qualify with firearms. There's minimum standards that we have to do as far as dealing with domestic violence situations, human diversity. Those are all standards that have to be met depending on the train. Some we train on at different times through the year. But those type of things we deal with traffic stops. We train on traffic stops. But as far as the standards are concerned with other agencies, I know at the sheriff's office, I would say from my experience, other agencies, we train a lot to make sure that we are the best agency that we can be and we can serve the community and keep people safe.
What did you think when the Dallas police chief said the other day that we are asking of our police officers and law enforcement too much? Not just to be law enforcement officers, but to be social service, experts, family counselors.
Oh yeah.
All these things. Is it too much?
I'm going to say that law enforcement has changed over the years. When I first started 18 years ago, I've come through the ranks and I've seen it change over time. We used to be, they wanted to call us, if you want to quote unquote, crime fighters. That's not the case anymore. We do take reports for crimes. We do deal with crimes, but we're also the social workers. We go out when there is a family disturbance, when there's a mentally unstable person. Our civil department serves Baker Acts. We do civil evictions. We have the shifts program, which is currently dealing with relocating the homeless, helping getting them back on their feet. We have programs involved with that. The sheriff's office is constantly doing outreach type programs, or we're doing community events. So there's a lot that goes on that wasn't the same way back when I first started.
Well, let me ask you this, and I don't want to get into the area of politics, but if there are lawmakers out there watching right now, is it time for lawmakers, whether it's on the state or federal level, to step it up in terms of putting more into mental health services, more into social services, so other agencies and experts can deal with some of these underlying issues, and it's not the deputy or the cop on the beat who is forced to do that?
Well, unfortunately, we are the first line. So when there is a critical incident, when someone's having a bad day, who do they call? They call the first responder. They call 911, and we get there. We're the ones to resolve the situation initially. Now we partner with Coastal Recovery. We partner with Bayside. We partner with the Salvation Army.
In many cases, there are not adequate beds at those facilities when you see that there's a problem. We've done stories about that.
Okay, well, I personally have never, back when I was, I've personally never seen where they've never accepted somebody. There's always a receiving facility, whether it's a hospital, they will always take in the person, and whether they can't transfer it to Bayside or Coastal Recovery, the hospital will always take them and deal with the situation.
What's been your reaction over the last week when you have heard members of the African American community and others saying that when there is a traffic stop, they honestly believe that there is a difference between the way they are treated and the way somebody who's white is treated, and they honestly do believe that. And that is part of the tension going on now.
I can't put myself in other people's shoes. However, I do realize that, and I sympathize that if that's the way they feel, that's the way they feel. But I would like to tell them, in many instances, we don't even know when we're pulling the person over what race, what color, what sex they are, because we can't see into the car. However, so when we get there and we understand, or they feel fearful, it comes back to what we should be doing as an agency, and that's back to the core values and doing things properly with integrity and respect, and treating people fairly. And other parts of our training we also do is we try to quell situations or calm situations by, we don't have to always resort to violence. If someone's being upset, we're human. We can talk to each other, calm people down, and go forward with the interaction without having to resort to violence. And if you look at our agency as a whole, I think we've done a pretty good job of dealing with the community.
And we'll have to leave it there, Lieutenant. Thanks for joining us today.